Introduction. This unit will discuss information about advertising design in traditional media, which includes the broadcast media of television and radio, outdoor media, and the print media of magazines and newspapers. The first part of this lecture focuses on types of message strategies, appeals, and ad executions. Advertising design. There are three primary advertising design issues: message strategies, appeals, and ad executions. While discussed separately, decisions about ad design incorporate all three elements. The message theme outlines the key ideas in an advertisement. It is a central part of the creative brief. The message then can be created using a number of different message strategies, the primary tactic or approach used to deliver the message theme. Message strategies can be divided into three main categories that correspond with the three components of attitude: cognitive, affective, and cognitive. A cognitive message strategy presents rational arguments or pieces of information to consumers. Cognitive message strategies are designed to influence the cognitive component of attitude, which deals with beliefs and knowledge. Cognitive message strategies can be divided into 5 types: generic, preemptive, unique selling proposition, hyperbole, and comparative. A generic cognitive message strategy promotes a brand's attributes or benefits without any claim of superiority. In this advertisement, Community Trust Bank states that checks can be deposited anytime and anywhere. A preemptive cognitive message strategy makes a claim of superiority based on a product's specific attribute or benefit with the intent of preventing the competition from making the same claim. A unique selling proposition message strategy focuses on a testable claim of uniqueness or superiority. A hyperbole cognitive message strategy is an untestable claim based on some attribute or benefit. It does not require substantiation, which makes it a popular cognitive strategy. Strategy is an untestable claim based on some attribute or benefit. It does not require substantiation, which makes it a popular cognitive strategy approach. A comparative cognitive message strategy focuses on a direct or indirect comparison to a competing brand. The brand can be real, mentioned, or fictitious. The advantage of comparative ads is that they tend to capture attention. Brand awareness and message awareness tend to be higher. The negative aspect is that they can be less believable and can create a negative attitude. This is most likely to occur when a negative comparison approach is used in the ad, downgrading the competing brand. If the consumer does not believe the ad, then spontaneous trait transference can occur, which is placing the negative trait on the advertised brand instead of the competitor. It is important to choose competitors wisely in making comparisons. Advertisements that invoke feelings or emotions are effective message strategies. These messages attempt to enhance the likability of a product, recall of the message, and comprehension of the message. The two types of effective message strategies are resonance and emotional. Resonance advertising connects a product with the consumer's experiences from the past in order to develop a bond with the brand. Often, advertisers will use music from that generation to create an emotional bond. Emotional messages attempt to elicit emotions that will lead to product recall and choice. Many different emotions can be connected with the product. Emotional messages are used in both consumer and business-to-business advertising. Effective message strategies help develop brand equity by creating an emotional bond with the brand. Effective message strategies invoke feelings or emotions with the goal of enhancing likability, recall, and comprehension. Effective strategies can be resonance or emotional. Resonance advertising connects a brand with the consumer's experience. A new form of resonance advertising is comfort advertising. Comfort advertising encourages consumers to purchase a brand rather than a generic product because brands have stood the test of time, and consumers can take comfort in them. Emotional advertising elicits powerful emotions that lead to recall and choice. Used in both consumer and B2B markets, emotional advertising can lead to more positive feelings about a brand. Cognitive message strategies are designed to lead directly to some type of action or response. The strategy encourages consumers, or businesses, to act in some way, to do something like make an inquiry or access a website for more information. It can be tied with some type of promotion like a coupon, contest, or sweepstake. Because meta strategies correspond to the components of attitude, they can be matched with the different stages of the hierarchy of effects model. Cognitive strategies deal with awareness and knowledge. Affective strategies deal with emotions and the stages of liking, preference, and conviction. Cognitive strategies encourage action and match the purchase phase of the model. Advertisers have 7 different types of appeals they can use. The type of appeal chosen should be based on the creative brief and the objectives of the ad campaign. If a means and chain has been developed, then ideas on which appeal would work the best can be generated. While almost any appeal can work in any situation, some appeals would be more appropriate than others. In some cases, a particular appeal may be unacceptable to the target audience or to the client. Fear appeals are common and are used for products ranging from insurance, to home security systems, to deodorant. Fear appeals increase interest and are remembered by individuals. Severity is the level of consequence that will occur, and vulnerability is the probability of the event happening. Response efficacy is the likelihood that a change in behavior or actions will result in a desirable positive consequence. Intrinsic reward is the internal satisfaction, and extrinsic reward is the value of the event or reward received. Response cost is the cost or sacrifice the person will need to make to obtain the reward. Self-efficacy is the confidence a person has in his/her own ability to engage in the action, or to stop an undesirable behavior. All of these factors influence the effectiveness of an ad using a fear appeal. The behavioral response model explains how fear appeals work. For a product such as a home security system, an ad can focus on severity, what happens when a home is broken into, or vulnerability, the probability of it actually occurring. The ad can show the negative consequences of such an event. An ad can show the intrinsic and extrinsic rewards from installing a security system. Response efficacy can be illustrated by the alarm going off when a burglar tries to enter, and the police are called. Peace of mind and security are then shown as the positive consequence. Humor is an excellent appeal for getting and keeping someone's attention. Humor is used in about 30% of television and radio ads. Humor causes individuals to stop what they are doing, watch, laugh at, and then remember the ad. In recall tests, consumers most often remembered humorous ads over ads with other types of appeals. The best results occur when the humor is connected naturally with the product. Humor appeals offer a number of advantages. Humor piques consumer interest. Humor increases recall and comprehension of ads. Humor elevates people's moods, and if people feel good about an ad, they tend to think positively about the brand being advertised. Problems occur when the humor is offensive or overpowers the message. At times, people can recall an ad and describe it in detail, but not remember the brand being promoted. When that occurs, the ad has failed. To prevent the humor from overpowering the message, the humor should focus on the product and not stand alone. Humor is rooted in culture, so what is funny in one country is not likely to be funny in another. Good humor that is remembered and that is connected with the brand is difficult to achieve. Advertisers use humor because it works. It captures attention. It holds people's attention. Humor often wins creative awards at competitions. Humor produces a high level of recall on recall tests. People enjoy humor, they like to laugh. When comparing ads, most people evaluate humorous ads as ones they like best. Advertisers have 5 different approaches they can use with sex appeal. They range from very subliminal messages to overt sexuality. Sex appeals are often used to break advertising clutter. The use of sex appeals has increased in the United States and in many other countries. The problem is that sex appeals may not carry the impact they used to because children are growing up exposed to sexual themes all around them. As a result, Many advertisers are moving to more subtle sexual clues and a softer sexual approach. Placing sexual cues or icons in an advertisement with the idea of affecting the subconscious is subliminal advertising. The cue or icon should not be easily noticeable. Research has shown that subliminal advertising does not work. It is not effective. If it did, there would not be a need for overt sexual advertising. Ad clutter requires stronger ads that get attention. The sensuality approach conveys sex, but in a loving, romantic way. Women respond more favorably to a sensuous approach. It is viewed as more sophisticated and relies on a person's imagination. Because it relies on imagination, the viewer can put their own positive spin on what they think will occur. Images of romance and love can be more enticing to viewers of an ad than raw sexuality. Sexual suggestiveness is a stronger hint about having sex, or a sexual theme. Recent ads have focused on women watching men who were shirtless or nearly nude, suggesting sexual fantasies that could occur with the man. Nudity and partial nudity is used in advertising for a variety of reasons and for a wide variety of products. Some products are related to sex, others have nothing at all to do with sex. One primary reason nudity and partial nudity is used in ads is to attract attention. It is not always designed to elicit a sexual response. For instance, underwear commercials may be just promoting garments, not trying to convey the idea that the underwear is sexy. Overt sexuality in ads is acceptable for sexually oriented products. It can be used to break through ad clutter. It is often used for shock value, to get people's attention. The major danger of an overt sexual approach is that it can offend people. When that occurs, it creates a negative image and attitude towards the brand. Before using a decorative model, companies should consider several factors. First, using decorative models does improve ad recognition, but it does not improve brand recognition. Recalling the ad but not the brand is not good. Second, decorative models influence emotional and objective evaluations of the product for both male and female audiences. Third, decorative models produce higher purchase intentions when the product is sexually relevant. Fourth, attractive models produce higher levels of attention than less attractive models for both males and females. Are sex appeals effective? Ads with sexual themes do attract attention. However, brand recall may be lower. Overt sexual ads, overt sexual cues, and nudity will increase physiological arousal. The cognitive impressions made in ads with sex appeals vary depending on the viewer. If the person likes the ad, then a positive cognitive impression is made of the brand. If they dislike the ad, then a negative cognitive impression is made of the brand. Societal trends also impact the use of sex appeals, especially in global markets. Sexual appeals in advertising are not all positive. A number of disadvantages are present. Using sex in advertising today has less influence because sex is common on television and in movies. Sexual themes interfere with brand recall and affect ad comprehension. A negative societal consequence is that such appeals may cause a greater dissatisfaction with the viewer's own body. Females feel they are too fat. Males feel they are not strong or muscular enough. Sex appeals have also led to stereotyping problems with females. Music is an important part of advertising. It connects with emotions and generates memories. It has intrusive value and gets attention. Music increases the retention of visual information. It produces higher recall scores and can increase persuasiveness. Music tends to be stored in long-term memory, and consumers often tie particular music to a specific brand of product. Music can play a variety of roles in ads. It can be incidental to the ad, hardly noticed by viewers, or it can be the central theme of the ad. The role it will assume impacts the type of music that will be selected. Advertisers can use a familiar tune, or they can write a jingle or new song. Music can be for background purposes or to create a certain mood as the ad progresses. In recent years, advertisers have solicited musicians to create songs for ads rather than purchasing familiar tunes and adapting them to the ad. Music appeals offer a number of advantages. Consumers have an affinity with existing songs, so when an existing song is used, Consumers have already heard it and most have developed emotions with it. Brand awareness, brand equity, and brand loyalty become easier with music appeals. Musicians have become more open to writing and performing songs for ads. It is a way to be heard. Songs are often posted on YouTube and other sites. Occasionally, the full song version of a tune written for an ad will become popular and move to radio stations and other popular music outlets. Rational appeals are based on the hierarchy of effects model and the sequence of steps outlined in the model. It implies active processing of information. Rational appeals work best for print ads where longer copy can be inserted and online where there is very little limit to what copy can be inserted. Rational appeals are common in business-to-business ads, again in print media, especially trade publications. When members of the buying center are searching for information, ads using rational appeals can be effective. Rational appeals work well for complex and high-involvement products. If a person processes the information in a rational ad, it is excellent at changing attitudes. The key is, will consumers stop and look or listen to the ad and process the information? Emotional appeals are often used because consumers tend to ignore ads, and emotional themes tend to be noticed more. Rational appeals, especially, are often ignored unless the person is in the market for that particular product. Most advertising creatives believe that emotions are the key to developing brand loyalty. Emotions and feelings will create bonds with a brand. Emotional appeals are becoming more common in B2B advertising and are now used in about 25% of all business ads. The rationale is that business buyers are people also, and even in business decisions, emotions are an important component. Emotional appeals work really well for television where people can see and hear the emotions. They also work well on the internet. Emotional appeals work well with other types of appeals and are often combined with other appeals like humor. Scarcity appeals urge consumers to make a purchase now because of some type of limitation. Often that limitation is a limited supply, which means products must be purchased before they are all gone. It can be based on limited time. You only have 5 days or 1 week, or just 1 hour. Scarcity appeals are often tied to other promotions such as contests, sweepstakes, and coupons. The concept is to encourage customers to take action immediately, or it will be too late. An executional framework signifies the manner in which an advertising appeal will be presented. It should be chosen in conjunction with an advertising appeal and a message strategy. There are 8 different executions that can be used. While almost any execution can be used with any appeal and message strategy, there are logical combinations, and there are some combinations that do not work well together. For instance, a common combination would be emotional appeal, effective message strategy, and slice-of-life execution. A combination that would be difficult to pull off would be rational appeal, effective message strategy, and demonstration execution. Animation was originally a cheap way to advertise. Companies that could not afford actors used animation. Animation usage has increased, and is often now a chosen method of advertising. The skill and quality of animation has improved greatly in the last 20 years. One technique, known as rotoscoping, involves drawing animated characters into scenes with live characters. Rotoscoping also can be used to merge live video scenes to make it look like it really happened or all occurred at the same time. The costs of animation have come down in recent years, which make it more appealing to advertisers. Animation is now used even for B2B advertising. The slice-of-life execution was made popular by Procter & Gamble in the 1950s. The basic premise is the introduction of a problem that a product solves. Slice of life has 4 distinct stages. It opens with an encounter between people or with a situation. A problem occurs. Then there is interaction, which can be a voiceover or conversation between 2 people. Then comes the PNG product that solves the problem. The typical detergent scenario is of a child's uniform getting dirty and now it is not available for the championship game. The mother interacts with the neighbor who recommends Tide or Cheer, and the uniform is clean. All are happy as the child runs out onto the field in a clean uniform. Storytelling is similar to the slice-of-life execution, but does not include an encounter where the brand solves the problem. Storytelling resembles a 30-second movie, with a plot. The brand is at the periphery of the ad, not the central focus. Rather than tell a brand's benefits or attributes, the audience is left to draw their own conclusions. Testimonials are used in the business-to-business sector and the service sector. Testimonials involve customers giving testimonies about a product or service. Testimonies can enhance the credibility of a product. The testimonies can be given by real customers or by paid actors. Real customers are more believable, but lack polish for a TV ad. Paid actors sometimes look like paid actors, and the testimony benefits are lost. When using the authoritative execution, advertisers seek to convince consumers of the product's superiority. The most common approach is to use some type of expert authority, such as a doctor, dentist, lawyer, or electrician. Scientific evidence or even survey evidence can be used to support the claim. It works best if the evidence is independent, such as J.D. Powers and Associates or Consumer Reports. The authoritative approach is used in business-to-business ads, especially in trade journals. Authoritative executions rely on cognitive processing of the information, so they work best with media where copy can be supplied. A demonstration execution shows how a product works. A demonstration is an effective way to communicate the benefits of a product to viewers. It is used in business-to-business advertising to show how a product can meet the needs of a business. It works best for television and the internet. Fantasy executions lift the audience beyond reality to a world of make-believe. Some are meant to be realistic, but most are fantasies that are irrational and would never really happen. The most common themes for fantasy executions are sex, love, and romance. As a result, fantasy executions work well for perfume and cologne. They also work well for clothing and vacation destinations. A few business-to-business ads have featured fantasies, but the danger is that customers will not take the business firm seriously. Informative executions present information to the audience in a straightforward manner. They are used extensively in radio, often by DJs. Informative ads are less common in television and in print. Informative ads are common with business-to-business. The key to whether individuals pay attention is the buying situation. If someone is looking for a particular product, then they may notice the informative ad. Level of involvement is important. Consumers and business buyers have to be involved at the time to notice informative ads. Placement is also important. Ads placed next to an article on the topic are more likely to be noticed. Selecting the right source and spokesperson for an advertisement is a critical decision. Advertisers have 4 choices: celebrities, CEOs of companies, experts from various fields, and typical persons. The most common type of spokesperson is the celebrity. They are featured in about 6% of all ads. A celebrity can enhance brand equity and create emotional bonds with the brand. Celebrities are more effective with younger consumers than with older individuals. Athletes are a popular category of spokespersons. Celebrity spokespersons can be used to establish a brand's personality. 3 additional categories of celebrity endorsements are celebrity voiceovers, dead person endorsements, and social media endorsements. Celebrity voiceovers are used because of the quality of their voice. Sometimes it is because the voice can be recognized and will influence consumers. At other times, the voiceover is a distraction because consumers pay too much attention to the voice and don't hear the brand message. The last category, dead celebrities, is somewhat controversial. It is becoming more common because they can't bring negative publicity to themselves or the brand. The newest form of celebrity endorsements is with social media. Celebrities are paid to post positive comments about a brand on social media, such as Twitter. CEOs can be used as spokespersons. They work well if they are highly visible and personable. They can be a major asset to a company. They work especially well for local companies where consumers in that area know them personally, or at least have met them. Expert spokespersons should be experts in their fields. They then serve as authoritative figures and can provide expert opinions. The last category is typical persons. They can be either paid actors who portray a typical person, or everyday, ordinary people. In evaluating sources, companies and ad agencies consider several characteristics. The effectiveness of the spokesperson depends on her degree of credibility. The level of credibility is determined by 5 factors: attractiveness, trustworthiness, similarity, expertise, and likability. Source credibility is derived from 5 characteristics: attractiveness, trustworthiness, similarity, expertise, and likability. Credibility determines the level of acceptance of the individual and her message. Credibility translates into the spokesperson being believable. Most sources do not score high on all of the dimensions. Celebrities are the most likely to possess all of the characteristics, at least to some degree. Attractiveness deals with both physical attractiveness and personality attractiveness. To be attractive, the spokesperson needs both. Someone who is physically attractive but has a rotten personality will not be a good spokesperson. Individuals who are physically attractive will be seen as more credible than less attractive people. Similarity is important and closely related to attractiveness. Similarity allows for identification with the spokesperson. Identification can come from having similar beliefs, attitudes, preferences, or behaviors. Sometimes it comes from aspirations, something a consumer wants to be or dreamed of being. Closely related to attractiveness and similarity is likability. Consumers respond to sources they like. That likability can be derived in a number of different ways. An actor may be likable because of a role he or she plays in a TV show or movie. If it is an athlete, the source may be a favorite player on a favorite team. It may be that the source supports the consumer's favorite charity. If someone likes the source, then that liking will usually transfer to the brand being endorsed. But, if for some reason an individual does not like a spokesperson, then that dislike will transfer to the brand also. Not all celebrities or spokespersons are viewed as trustworthy. Trustworthiness is the consumer's degree of confidence in or acceptance of a spokesperson. Trustworthiness enhances the ability for a consumer to believe the message. Likability and trustworthiness are closely related. Spokespersons with higher levels of expertise are viewed as being more credible. Expertise is often connected to a person's livelihood or occupation. Willie Robertson would be seen as an expert for vehicle lift suspension kits. In choosing a spokesperson, it is important to match source types with characteristics. Celebrities tend to score high in credibility because they often score high on the other 5 dimensions. The risk is negative publicity and the endorsement of too many products, which lessen credibility. CEOs are typically seen as having high levels of trustworthiness, expertise, and credibility. But, not all are good on camera, so an agency must exercise care when selecting CEOs. For experts, seek those who are attractive, likable, and trustworthy. Valid credentials are important. For typical persons, using multiple typical persons in an ad increases credibility. Using 3 customers to discuss a product may be better than using just 1. Real people are good to use, but may not be effective on television, resulting in an ad that comes across poorly. Using actors helps because they are skilled at acting and learning lines. However, they may not appear to be real. In global markets, it is necessary to adapt message strategies, appeals, and execution to cultural references. Companies need to be careful with translations and language. Traditional media channels. Media strategy involves analyzing and choosing media for an advertising and promotions campaign. Choosing the best media to speak to potential customers is a challenge. It involves matching a target audience to the media audience of specific programs. Media planning begins with a careful analysis of the target market. It involves understanding the process consumers use in making purchases, the consumer behavior events that guide those choices. It involves studying the media choices the target market makes and understanding their listening and viewing habits. To match the media to the target market requires understanding the target market. The marketing analysis provides a comprehensive review of the marketing program and where advertising fits into the plan. An advertising analysis states the primary advertising strategy and budget to be used, as well as the advertising objectives. The media strategy spells out the media to be used and the creative considerations. The media schedule notes when ads will appear in individual media vehicles. The media planning concludes with a justification and summary of the media plan. The media planner formulates the media program stating when and where ads will be placed. Media planners work closely with the creative staff, the account executive, account planners, and media buyers. The creative needs to know which media will be used and even the media vehicle as the ad is being. Traditional media channels. Media strategy involves analyzing and choosing media for an advertising and promotions campaign. Choosing the best media to speak to potential customers is a challenge. It involves matching a target audience to the media audience of specific programs. Media planning begins with a careful analysis of the target market. It involves understanding the process consumers use in making purchases, the consumer behavior events that guide those choices. It involves studying the media choices the target market makes and understanding their listening and viewing habits. To match the media to the target market requires understanding the target market. The marketing and analysis provides a comprehensive review of the marketing program and where advertising fits into the plan. An advertising analysis states the primary advertising strategy and budget to be used, as well as the advertising objectives. The media strategy spells out the media to be used and the creative considerations. The schedule notes when ads will appear in individual media vehicles. The media planning concludes with a justification and summary of the media plan. The media planner formulates the media program stating when and where ads will be placed. Media planners work closely with the creative staff, the account executive, account planners, and media buyers. The creative needs to know which media will be used and even the media vehicle as the ad is being prepared. The media buyer takes the media plan and purchases the actual space and time. The media planner needs to understand the characteristics of the target audience. Those characteristics then need to be matched with media audience characteristics. Ads are more likely to be noticed and have an effect if they are placed on media and on programs that are watched or viewed by the target audience. A target market that likes sports should be matched with programs about sports. The media planner's responsibility is to match the target market for this ad to print publications that have a similar target audience. Media buyers actually purchase the space and negotiate rates for ads. Placement is important and is part of the media buyer's responsibility to ensure a good location for ads. Research has shown there is little connection between the size of the agency and the price negotiated. Being a large agency does not guarantee lower prices. A spot ad is a one-time placement of an advertisement. The rates are negotiated individually with television stations, so prices vary considerably. The effectiveness of media buyers is determined by the quality of the media choice, the creativity of the media buyer in negotiating and placing ads, financial stewardship of the buyer, the agency's culture and track record in buying media, and the relationships the media buyer develops with the media reps. Reach represents the number of people, households, or businesses in a target audience that are exposed to a media vehicle or message schedule at least once during a specified time period, which is usually 4 weeks. Frequency is the average number of times an individual, household, or business is exposed to a particular advertisement within a specified time period, again usually within 4 weeks. Opportunities to see, OTS, refer to the cumulative exposures achieved in a given time period. A brand that places 3 ads on a television show that is televised weekly will produce 12 OTS, 3 shows x 4 weeks. Gross rating points, GRPs, measure the impact or intensity of a media plan. Gross rating points are calculated by multiplying a vehicle's rating by the OTS. Cost for media is often per 1,000 CPM, which allows for easy comparisons across vehicles and even media. Ratings measure the percent of a target market that is exposed to a medium. Cost per rating point allows for comparisons across media. It is calculated by dividing the cost of the media buy by the vehicle's rating. An alternative is to use the weighted, or demographic, CPM, which is calculated by multiplying the cost of the media buy by 1,000, then dividing by the actual audience reached. Continuity refers to the exposure pattern or schedule used in the campaign. A continuous campaign uses media in a steady stream throughout the entire campaign. Pulsating has expenditures throughout the entire campaign, but will also have bursts when extra spending occurs. Flighting, or discontinuous, spends money on media at different times during the campaign and none at other times. Gross impressions represent the total exposures of an audience to an advertisement. If an ad was shown 4 times on a television show with an audience of 2 million people, then the total gross impressions would be 8 million. The 3-exposure hypothesis was introduced by Herbert Krugman. The hypothesis states that it takes at least 3 exposures to an ad for it to have an effect. It also is based on the idea that advertising has intrusion value, that is, viewers will pay attention to an ad even if they don't want to. Most advertisers feel 3 exposures are not enough and that advertising today does not always display intrusion value. Consumers have selective attention and focus. They pay attention to only certain ads. According to recency theory, 1 ad exposure may be enough if the person has an interest in that product or for some other reason pays attention to the ad. Recency theory suggests advertising needs to be continuous since most of the time ads are ignored. According to recency theory, increasing exposure through adding reach is more important than adding frequency. Effective reach is the percent of the audience that must be exposed to an advertisement to achieve a specific objective. Effective frequency is the number of times an audience must be exposed to an advertisement to achieve a specific objective. If there are too few ads or reach is too low, then the campaign is not effective. If the ads are seen too many times, then resources are being wasted. The size and placement of ads impact exposure and impact effective reach and effective frequency. The number and type of media also impact effectiveness. Advertisers today have computer models that will help them optimize media schedule. Television for many years had the reputation of being the glamour advertising medium. To some, TV still remains the best medium. But, its luster has faded for many products. A survey by Nielsen notes that the average consumer watches 31 hours of TV per week. This table summarizes advantages and disadvantages of TV. It can reach a large audience at a relatively low cost per contact, but that overall cost is high for many brands. Clutter is the #1 problem facing TV. Channel surfing and shifting to other media are also concerns. The cost of TV ads is still determined by Nielsen TV ratings. The ratings are calculated by dividing the number of households watching a program by the total number of households, which in the US is now about 109.7 million. The share is the number of households watching the program divided by the number of households with a TV turned on. The commercial C3 rating is for actual commercial time plus any viewing within 3 days after the original ad runs. The C3 rating is now used to determine advertising rates. It is calculated by averaging the viewing of commercials within a pod. Critics assert that not all ads within a pod are viewed equally. For instance, the first slot has a 28% higher awareness level. Nielsen plans to extend C3 rating to on-demand C3, which will produce a rating for each commercial. The primary provider of ratings is AC Nielsen. In addition to national ratings, Nielsen provides ratings for DMAs. Data is gathered through diaries, audience meters, and people meters. Demographic data can be obtained from agencies such as Nielsen Media Research, Starch INRA, MediaMark Research, and Burke Marketing Research. Local and regional television is excellent for local and regional companies. national brands can advertise on these stations by purchasing spot TV space. About 75% of national time slots are sold during sweeps week. By selecting local channels to supplement the national time, companies can generate higher GRPs at a lower cost. Dynamic advertising allows a company, such as DirecTV or Comcast, to obtain subscriber information from marketing research firms and combine it with the company's data to send targeted ads to subscribers that meet specific criteria and live in targeted areas. Consumers are spending more time online and less time watching television. But for high social media users, the time spent watching TV is actually higher. Deloitte research found that 75% of consumers multitask while watching TV, -42% online, 29% talking on phones, and 26% sending text messages. Bluefin Labs found a connection between online buzz about brands and television shows being watched. Many companies are now posting TV ads on YouTube. Some are posted simultaneously, others are pre-rolled on YouTube, especially during the Super Bowl. Research shows recalled higher -200% of viewing on both YouTube and TV and 150% higher for YouTube only. More than 3 billion consumers watch YouTube daily. The Super Bowl is the biggest advertising event of the year, with many of the 110 million plus viewers watching the game to see the ads. In the past, ads were kept secret until the Super Bowl. Now, many ads are pre-rolled through social media, YouTube, and Facebook. Teaser ads are often used, but sometimes extended ads with additional content and information are used. Social media allows for immediate feedback and monitoring of social buzz. Approximately 80% of Americans still listen to radio. Radio still reaches about 93% of Americans. Radio is especially important for smaller, local businesses. This table identifies the advantages and disadvantages of radio. Audiences can be segmented based on station format, and many listeners form an attachment to DJs. The major problem is short exposure and low attention. Radio is often used as background music. Services and amusements are the big spenders on outdoor advertising. The next largest category is transportation, hotels, and resorts. Out-of-home media is more than just billboards. It includes signs on cabs, buses, park benches, fences of stadiums and arenas, and even a blimp flying over a major event. Advances in technology have dramatically changed out-of-home advertising. This table shows the advantages and disadvantages. Out-of-home has the advantage of geographic selectivity and is excellent for local ads, broad reach, and a low cost per impression. The problem is a very short exposure time, especially for highway billboards, so the message has to be extremely brief. Magazines can still be the best choice for advertising. Research indicates magazines are a strong driver of purchase intentions and visits to websites. Magazines work especially well when blended with other media. Magazines offer high segmentation, high-quality color, and a long lifespan. Magazines often are kept for months and read and reread. Disadvantages are the high cost, the high level of clutter, and the very little flexibility in modifying ads. Newspapers are still important for local businesses in providing coupons to consumers. Newspapers have a high level of credibility and strong audience interest. They are especially effective for reaching older consumers. The problem with newspapers is that younger consumers do not read newspapers, instead they go online for news. There is major clutter and a very short lifespan. Newspapers are not kept and reread like magazines. Selecting the proper blend of media outlets for advertisements is crucial. The work of media planners is especially important. It is their task to match target markets with media audiences, to know what media a specific target market uses. The media multiplier effect suggests that combining two or more media increases the impact of an advertising campaign more than any one medium by itself. This is true in both the consumer market and the B2B market. Developing logical combinations of media takes planning. It starts by deciding the scale of the media market, local, regional, national, or global. Next comes an understanding of the market characteristics, demographics, geographic location, psychographic profile, and media habits. From this information, decisions can be made about which media is the best: TV, radio, outdoor, newspaper, magazines, or direct mail. Last comes the content. Business-to-business ads are looking more and more like consumer ads. Sometimes it is impossible to tell if an advertisement is a B2B ad or a consumer ad. There are three major reasons for the shift. First, decision-makers in businesses are also consumers. Second, decision-makers in businesses are very difficult to reach. Third, the clutter in B2B media makes it hard to stand out. Not only has the appearance of B2B ads changed, but so has the media. Companies are using more consumer magazines, consumer TV shows, and consumer media. The idea is to reach business buyers outside of the work environment. However, trade publications and business magazines are still extremely important. Business publications account for 26% of B2B advertising expenditures. But television is now very close, with 25.4%. Notice that consumer magazines account for 11.5%. The importance of different types of media varies widely throughout the world. Media habits of people in other countries are not the same as those in the United States. The media buying process is different. Culture is a major force in these differences.